New footage just dropped, showing what looks like one of Foolio's own finally catching up with Yungeen Ace. Ever since Foolio's death, his affiliates have been threatening to get him.
Yeah. And everybody died first though.
Now it looks like they finally did, and word is ATK already struck back.
A lot of what's the Yungeen Ace boys? Yeah, been dropping like 6, 7.
I've got the full breakdown. Let's get into it. Blood in the streets. New footage just dropped online showing a violent attack caught on camera, and fans are convinced it's Foolio's affiliate finally taking revenge. But before we break down everything in that footage, we need to rewind and understand how this all started. Picture this. It's May 2017 in Jacksonville, Florida, a city already known for its high crime rate and gang activity. The streets were already hot, but what happened next would spark a war that's still raging today. Zion Malik Brown, an 18-year-old associated with KTA, was killed during a home invasion on Jacksonville's west side. This wasn't just any random shooting. Zion was the cousin of Charles Andrew Jones II, better known to the world as rapper Julio Foolio. That killing right there, that was the match that lit the whole damn powder keg. See, in the streets, blood calls for blood. And when you take someone's family, especially in the hood where loyalty runs deeper than anything else, you know retaliation is coming. And it came hard. Fast forward to June 2018, and the streets of Jacksonville witnessed one of the most brutal retaliatory attacks in the city's recent history. We're talking about the town center shooting that would change everything. Trevon Bullard, Royale Devon Smith Jr., and Jacoby Deshad Groover, all ATK members, were gunned down in what investigators believe was payback for Zion's death. But here's where it gets really personal. Trevon Bullard wasn't just any ATK member. He was the brother of Kenyatta Bullard, better known as Yungeen Ace, the leader of ATK. Now imagine being Yungeen Ace in that moment. You're a young rapper trying to make it out the hood, and suddenly your little brother gets murdered in what's clearly gang retaliation. That type of loss, that type of pain, it changes a person forever.
It's so crazy because I be putting the blame on me. You know, I don't know this.
Survivor's remorse.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, cause I insisted like, look, bro, let's go out to eat. It's your birthday.
Yeah.
You know, my best friend's birthday. I'm like, it's your birthday, man. Let's just go out to eat.
But this shooting wasn't just about taking lives. It was about sending a message. In the world of gang warfare, how you handle disrespect determines whether you survive or become a memory. When Yungeen Ace survived that shooting that took his brother's life, he had a choice to make: disappear from the streets or stand up and represent for his fallen homies. He chose to stand up, and that decision would escalate this beef to levels nobody could have predicted. ATK, which stands for Ace's Top Killers, became synonymous with Yungeen Ace and his crew, while KTA, meaning Kill Them All, was Foolio's set. These weren't just rap groups, they were actual street organizations with real killers, real territory, and real bodies behind their names. The music was just the soundtrack to the violence happening in real life. What made this beef even more dangerous was how it started spreading beyond just ATK and KTA. Other Jacksonville gangs started picking sides, creating a web of alliances and enemies that made the whole city a war zone. Groups like 6 Block, which was part of KTA, and 1200, which would later align with ATK, turned Jacksonville into a chessboard where the wrong move could cost you your life. As 2018 turned into 2019, the violence escalated even further. Willie Addison, known as Boss Goon and an ATK member, was killed in January 2019 outside Paradise Gentlemen's Club.
So basically, they started beef. Like, I want to know, you know what I'm saying, how they first started beef. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody need to get in the comments, tell me how these boys first started getting beef. Now, I heard about, you know what I'm saying, Foolio, you know what I'm saying, sent them shots, and then, you know, his brother, his best friends got, you know what I'm saying, they were took out, you feel me, on their birthday, like the video just said. But I want to know what started it before that, you know what I'm saying? Like what really took place to have these boys beefing like before that, you know what I'm saying?
But KTA wasn't done. That same month, Charles Quentin McCormick Jr., known as Lil Buck and a KTA member, was also killed. But perhaps the most heartbreaking loss came in February 2019 when Adrian Denard Gaynor Jr., known as Bibby, was killed. Bibby wasn't just any KTA member. He was Foolio's 16-year-old brother. 16 years old, man. That's somebody's baby brother who should have been worried about.
16 years old, man. 16, that dude was still a child, you know what I'm saying? But they just let you know that the streets ain't got no, you know what I'm saying, ain't got no age limit. And you know, the streets are always welcoming, you know what I'm saying, for whatever type of lifestyle you want to live. It's facts.
homework and girls, not gang wars and retaliation. The death of Bibby hit Foolio the same way his brother's death hit Yungeen Ace. Now both leaders of these rival factions had lost their little brothers to this senseless violence. Both were dealing with that deep, painful loss that comes from having your blood spilled in the streets. But instead of bringing them together in their shared grief, it only made the hatred burn hotter. What's crazy is how this beef started spilling over into their music in ways that shocked even seasoned observers of gang culture. In 2020, ATK-affiliated rappers dropped a track called Who I Smoke that would become one of the most controversial drill rap songs ever made. This track didn't just mention dead enemies, it straight up named them, disrespected them, and turned their deaths into a catchy hook that got millions of views on YouTube. The song referenced specific killings and used the names of dead KTA members in ways that were designed to inflict maximum psychological damage on their enemies. This wasn't just rap beef anymore. This was psychological warfare set to a beat. Digital warfare and rising body counts. Now, where we left off, both ATK and KTA had suffered devastating losses. Yungeen Ace lost his brother Trivon, Foolio lost his brother Bibby, and the streets of Jacksonville were running red with blood. But instead of these personal tragedies bringing any kind of peace or understanding, they only added fuel to a fire that was already burning out of control. The year 2020 marked a turning point in this beef, not just because of the continued violence, but because of how the conflict started playing out on a global stage through social media and music. See, in the old days, gang beefs stayed local. Maybe word would spread through the streets. Maybe some local news would pick it up. But for the most part, these conflicts remained contained to their neighborhoods. But with Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok, every diss, every threat, every piece of disrespect could go viral instantly. This is where things get really wild. ATK-affiliated rappers dropped Who I Smoke, a track that would become one of the most controversial drill rap songs ever made. Now, I want you to understand something about this song. It wasn't just a regular diss track. This was straight up naming dead enemies, turning their deaths into entertainment, and broadcasting it to millions of people worldwide. The song was so disrespectful, so calculated in its cruelty that it shocked even people who were used to harsh rap lyrics. They took the names of dead KTA members and worked them into catchy hooks, essentially profiting off the deaths of their enemies while rubbing salt in the wounds of grieving families. This wasn't just about the streets anymore. This was about inflicting maximum psychological damage while building their own fame and fortune. But here's where it gets even crazier. The music video for Who I Smoke was like a trophy case of violence. The video references at least 3 people who were killed, and the imagery was designed to send a clear message to their enemies. We'll kill you, then we'll make money off your death, then we'll dance on your grave in front of the whole world. Obviously,
yeah, man, just straight disrespectful, bro. On both ends, you feel me? Don't come for me. I'm talking about on both ends, you feel me? Like Who I Smoke, and then, you know, Foolio, he just was a whole fool, you feel me? Like with everything he said, he held back nothing. You know what I'm saying? Real disrespectful, you feel me? But yeah, man, that's
KTA wasn't about to let that level of disrespect slide. Foolio responded with his own tracks, including When I See You, which escalated tensions even further. Jacksonville Sheriff Mike Williams would later describe social media as the gang graffiti of the 1980s, highlighting how these platforms became the new battleground for gang warfare. Now, while all this musical warfare was happening, the real violence never stopped. In fact, it was getting worse. The music and social media beef was like pouring gasoline on an already raging fire. Every time one side dropped a diss track, every time someone posted something disrespectful on Instagram, it created more pressure for retaliation in the streets. Let me put this in perspective for you. This wasn't just about territory or drug money anymore, though those elements were definitely still there. This had become about respect, reputation, and proving who was really the most dangerous crew in Jacksonville. When you put a bounty on someone's head through a rap song that gets millions of views, when you disrespect dead enemies to their families' faces through social media, you're creating a situation where violence becomes inevitable. The authorities were definitely paying attention. Law enforcement agencies started monitoring both groups closely, but catching gang members in the act of planning or carrying out violence is incredibly difficult. These aren't stupid people. They know how to move in the shadows, how to communicate without leaving evidence, and how to make sure their hands stay clean while still sending deadly messages. As we moved into 2021, 2022, and 2023, the violence continued to simmer. Additional victims included Lawrence Davis in 2018, Adrian McKenzie in 2023, and Rico Osama, Julian House, in 2023, though their specific gang affiliations weren't always clear in every report. What was clear was that Jacksonville had become a war zone where young black men were dying at an alarming rate. The thing that made this whole situation even more tragic was how it was affecting the broader community. Innocent bystanders were getting caught in the crossfire. Families were living in fear, and entire neighborhoods were being held hostage by this ongoing conflict. This wasn't just a gang problem anymore, it was a community crisis. Meanwhile, both Yungeen Ace and Foolio were building their music careers off this violence. Their most popular songs were the ones that referenced the beef, that named their enemies, that detailed the violence. They were literally profiting from the same conflict that was destroying their community. It created this.
And that's true, man. You feel what I'm saying? But you know, that's how the streets go. That's how, you know what I'm saying, rap beef go. You know, street beef, rap beef, whichever one. That's how it, you know, it happens, man. People getting paid from beefing with each other. And, you know, and sometimes it get deeper than that. You know what I mean? It gets deeper than that. So
Perverse incentive where peace was actually bad for business. Social media made everything worse. Every Instagram post, every tweet, every Facebook status was analyzed for hidden meanings, perceived disrespect, or threats. A picture of someone wearing certain colors in a certain neighborhood could spark retaliation. A song lyric that mentioned a dead enemy could lead to another shooting. The internet had turned every interaction into a potential spark for violence. The use of social media and rap music became a critical escalation mechanism, with both sides posting videos and tracks that taunted rivals and documented criminal activities. Law enforcement was watching, taking screenshots, building cases, but the nature of social media made it incredibly difficult to prove that a rap lyric was actually a confession to murder or a threat of future violence. By 2023, this beef had gained national attention. Hip-hop blogs were covering every development. YouTube channels were breaking down the lyrics for hidden meanings, and true crime podcasts were analyzing the violence. What started as a local gang conflict had become entertainment for millions of people who had never set foot in Jacksonville but were fascinated by the real-life drama playing out online.
hey man, ain't that kind of crazy though how Ace Young and his brother and, you know what I'm saying, his best friends, they got hit up on his birthday, and then Foolio, you know what I'm saying, got hit up on his birthday, and the same amount of people, you know what I'm saying, was injured versus who, you know what I'm saying, who got took out, which was Foolio. And it was the same thing that happened with Ace Young, man. It's just crazy how you know, how this universe works. Real talk.
But while people were treating this like entertainment, real families were being destroyed. Real mothers were burying their sons, real children were growing up without fathers, and real communities were being torn apart by violence that seemed to have no end in sight. All of this eventually led to Foolio's death, the murder that shocked hip-hop. It's June 23rd, 2024, a date that would forever change the landscape of this conflict. Foolio was celebrating his 26th birthday, and like many young people, he was documenting his celebration on social media.
Pool party start the day at 5, 6 o'clock. If you already got the address, pull up, man. We got the address, pull up. If you need the address, DM me right now. Pool party start at 5, 6 o'clock.
But for someone like Foolio, posting your location online was like painting a target on your back. He had been the target of multiple assassination attempts over the years, and everyone in the streets knew that ATK wanted him dead. Despite the danger, Foolio was living his life. He had over 1 million Instagram followers and 950,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. His music was reaching people all over the world, and he had every reason to celebrate making it this far despite all the attempts on his life. But the streets don't respect success. They don't respect birthdays, and they damn sure don't respect anyone who thinks they're untouchable. Foolio's celebration started in Jacksonville, but moved to Tampa, about a 3.5-hour drive south. He had initially planned a pool party and an after party at an Airbnb, but police shut down the Airbnb party. This forced him and his crew to relocate to a hotel, specifically a Home 2 Suites by Hilton near the University of South Florida. Now here's where this story gets really sinister. Court documents later revealed that 5 suspects had tracked Foolio from Jacksonville to Tampa, following him to every location he visited that night. This wasn't a crime of opportunity. This was a carefully planned execution. The suspects, Sean Gathright, Rashad Murphy, Davian Murphy, Isaiah Chance, and Alicia Andrews.
Even had a woman, you know what I'm saying, slide, man. You know what I'm saying? What's her name? Alicia Andrews. I remember when she got arrested, you know what I'm saying? She looked like she was, you know what I'm saying, for the tell something though. You know what I'm saying? But I don't even think they've been sentenced yet. You know what I'm saying? If I ain't mistaken, man, somebody dropped it in the comments. I don't even think they've been sending shit.
Had coordinated their movements using surveillance footage and phone logs. They followed him to strip clubs. They monitored his social media posts, and they waited for the perfect moment to strike. At approximately 4:40 a.m. on June 23, 2024, that moment came. Surveillance footage shows 3 masked gunmen, armed with semi-automatic rifles and a pistol, ambushing Foolio and his group in the hotel parking lot. The attackers fired at 2 vehicles, with Foolio sitting in the front passenger seat of one. He was struck multiple times and died at the scene, while 3 others were injured but survived. The assassination was swift, brutal, and professional. These weren't random street thugs acting on impulse. These were organized killers who had planned every detail of their attack. Tampa Police Chief Lee...
Nah, they definitely acted on impulse because every last one of them got caught. They were not you know what I'm saying, no hit man, no nothing, you know what I'm saying, because they all got caught. None of them got away with nothing, you know what I'm saying, besides the truth, you know what I'm saying, carrier, you feel me? And I ain't dropping no names, I ain't putting no names out there, but you know, everybody leave it up to their own opinion of who I'm talking about or whatever.
Urquhart stated that the suspects believed to be members of ATK and 1200 had traveled to Tampa specifically to murder Foolio as retaliation. The investigation that followed was massive. Tampa Police Department worked with Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, FBI, ATF, and local prosecutors to build their case. They used surveillance footage from the hotel and multiple Tampa nightclubs, phone logs, license plate readers, and witness statements to track down the killers. One of the most damning pieces of evidence was a text message from Rashad Murphy boasting about the murder shortly after it happened, indicating the premeditated nature of the crime. This wasn't just about revenge. These killers were proud of what they had done. The arrests started coming fast. On July 27, 2024, Sean Gathright, Isaiah Chance, and Alicia Andrews were apprehended in Jacksonville. Rashad Murphy was arrested on July 30th, 2024 after a standoff. The last suspect, Davian Murphy, remained on the run until January 2025, when he was finally captured. All 5 suspects have been charged with first-degree premeditated murder with a firearm and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder with a firearm. Even more significantly, the state of Florida has filed notices to seek the death penalty for 3 of the suspects, Isaiah Chance, Sean Gathright, and Rashad Murphy. Court documents revealed the sophisticated level of planning involved. The suspects had tracked Foolio's movements, coordinated their attack, and even had designated roles, 3 shooters and 2 lookouts. Alicia Andrews allegedly provided her phone for communication between the group, making her an essential part of the conspiracy even though she didn't pull the trigger. But here's where this story takes an even more tragic turn. The murder of Foolio didn't end the violence. It actually made things worse. On January 24th, 2025, just 7 months after Foolio's death, 7-year-old Brian Allen was killed in crossfire linked to the same gang feud. 4 men, Keith Fields, Donnell Larkins, Keith Johnson, and Zorad Sykes, all associated with 6 Block, were arrested for targeting an ATK associate and accidentally killing an innocent child, a 7-year-old baby man. That's what this beef has come to, killing children. The motive was linked to a song called 6 Ways to Die that insulted 6 Block by referencing dead members, showing how music continues to fuel this deadly cycle of retaliation. The murder of Foolio has had a profound impact on Jacksonville and the hip-hop community. Professor Andrew Carswell from Florida State College at Jacksonville wrote an opinion piece expressing his shock upon learning that one of his top students, Sean Gathright, was arrested for the murder. He highlighted the broader societal issue, noting how many young lives are being ruined and families destroyed by this senseless violence.
The ongoing fight between these 2 groups spilled over into Tampa last month. Let me be clear, the feud stops here.
Law enforcement is finally taking decisive action.
All 5 of these defendants are facing life in the Florida State Prison, even the ones who didn't pull the trigger. In Florida, if you participate in the planning of a murder, you can be held accountable for the person's death.
I ain't gonna count. She don't like she playing no games. She don't like she playing no game whatsoever. And if you get in her face or you get any type of, you got anything to deal with her, she like she will fry you, bro. She look like she will put you under if she can.
And that is what we intend to do here. There were 3 people who pulled the trigger. You saw it on the video. 5 people, though, are charged with murder. The level of planning, and coordination between these 5 defendants was truly alarming.
Now, there's been a lot of speculation about whether Yungeen Ace was involved in ordering Foolio's murder. Social media claims, including viral posts alleging that Ace paid $10,000 for the hit, have fueled public perception. However, as of June 19, 2025, Yungeen Ace has not been charged with any crime related to Foolio's murder. Ace has denied involvement, stating on Instagram Live, "That shit's sad. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Leave the streets alone, playa. I don't condone shit like that." He even revealed that he and Foolio were on good terms before the murder, which contradicts the narrative that he ordered the hit. The trials for Foolio's alleged killers are scheduled to begin in late 2025 and early 2026. All suspects have been denied bond, with judges citing their danger to the community. The state's pursuit of the death penalty shows how seriously they're taking this case. But here's the real tragedy. None of this had to happen. Foolio was just 26 years old when he was murdered. He had a successful music career, hundreds of thousands of fans, and was making money doing what he loved. Instead of enjoying his birthday with friends and family, he died in a hotel parking lot because of a beef that started when he was barely out of high school. The cycle of violence continues. Research suggests at least 10 people have been killed in this feud, with more possible. Brothers have lost brothers, mothers have buried their children, and an entire community lives in fear because young men can't let go of grudges that should have died years ago. The story of ATK versus KTA isn't just about gang violence. It's about how poverty, lack of opportunity, and a culture that glorifies violence can trap entire communities in cycles of death and destruction. It's about how social media and drill rap can turn local beefs into global entertainment while real people suffer and die. That brings us to the end of this story. For more interesting videos like...
Yeah, I ain't gonna cap. That make a lot of sense, especially with what was said at the end, you know what I'm saying? Just sad situations, you feel what I'm saying, man? Rest in peace to Foolio, man, and rest in peace to everybody who passed along the ways, you feel what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all watching the videos with me. Make sure you come back and watch some more with me. This is Jackpot's Reaction, and until next video, I'm out.